So let's get more into it. So what you're going to learn as you continue to read books and as you listen to Laura, you know, we found out that this fear is very, very powerful. It can hinder, it can stop your birth. We talked about fear before, and man, fear is a unassisted home birth killer. Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot be afraid, man. Let me give you an example. I watched a lot of births. Once we understood this, what we were doing, I watched a lot of births. You know, they have them on YouTube, and there are people that just record their births, you know, and they post it online. So I've seen a lot of different stuff, and man, I had to prepare myself just to be able to visually see what's going on, because I'd never seen that before. And one of the things that Laura said, she explained that, you know, what if the baby comes out and the umbilical cord is around their neck? What do you do? You know, she said, well, you just unwrap it. You know, and you think about that, and it's like, if you're at home and there's no doctor and there's no midwife and there's no professional, and your baby starts to come out and you see an umbilical cord around their neck, the first thing your first instinct is to be afraid.
Yeah.
You know? And let me tell you, that happened to us at our first birth. Eden was born, and when she was coming out, and just think about it, this is our first time. This is my first time actually live seeing this happen. And man, as her head was coming out, and we had already done some things, and we're going to talk about that later, some things that we should not have done with our first birth. We made some mistakes. But Eden still, she was born perfect, everything. But she went coming out, after her head came out, and I looked at her neck, and the umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck very tight.
Yeah. 3 times.
So I was like, wow. But you know what? I was not afraid, because
we were already prepared.
Yeah, we were ready. We were ready for the you know, whatever situation that come up.
Yeah.
You know, we learned just unwrap it. And Eden helped us, because as soon as her head came out, even with the cord wrapped around her neck, she started crying. Body wasn't out yet. Head was out. She started crying.
Was screaming. Yeah.
She was. But I just, you know, unwrapped it. First time touching an umbilical cord. Like, it was like, well, this was it, man. We were in it. You know, this was prime time. We were in all the training and stuff we did. Man, there's nothing like getting when you're live in it, and we were in it. And I just unwrapped the cord, and the baby came on out.
You did good.
So hey, I'll tell you what, it was something. It definitely was an experience. And she came on out, and I took her and I put her on you, and you know, it was done.
Yeah.
But you know what? That fear right there, that could have messed us up.
Yeah. I was afraid too when I was in labor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first one was the hardest for us, because, and we're going to talk about that in one of the other chapters on what not to do.
Yeah.
But fear is your enemy.
Right.
Fear is something you do not want to happen. What happens when the mother is afraid? Think about it. You're at and this is the power of unassisted at home, being in the right environment. If you're at a hospital and you got a doctor telling you when to stand up, when to sit down, when to turn over, all these different things, and you're on a bed, a dry bed, you're not in a pool, you're not in warm water, you don't have all these different things going on, you don't have the music you want playing, and the atmosphere is wrong, and guess what? All the stuff that you've watched and the movies and stuff where all these women are screaming and you're afraid. Guess what? Your body is not going to do what it's supposed to do. Your body, when it's afraid, it goes into this whole fight flight where the oxygen that is needed to send the blood to the uterus, that goes. When you're afraid, the oxygen that is needed gets cut off and the blood gets cut off from it. You hear about people that turn pale when they're afraid, and what happens is that the blood goes rushing to your legs and to your hands. Why? Because your body is saying, this is danger, danger, danger. Wow. It's time to fight or it's time to run. So I'm going to send the blood to your hands and to your feet and to your legs. Now, what's the danger in that? You're trying to give birth. And if you're afraid trying to give birth, you're not going to have the oxygen that is needed to birth the baby. So guess what? That's where the doctors come in. Baby's stuck, baby's not coming out. And guess what? You end up in a whole lot more pain than you would be in if you were at home in a comfortable environment.
Yeah.
When you're afraid, everything shuts down. And that's when the doctor comes in and all these man-made epidurals and all these different things inducing and all this medical stuff happens because your body shuts down and is not ready to do what it needs to do. I use this example in the ebook. If you were like downtown, in your city downtown, and you needed to go to the bathroom and you were downtown, would you just pull your clothes down and go poop right there in the middle of downtown all in front of all these people? No, you wouldn't do that, right? Why wouldn't you do that? Because the environment is crazy and your body is going to shut down. It's not going to allow you to do that because it's in the wrong environment and you're afraid. You're not going to do that out there. But guess what? If you took a laxative and you had this laxative in your stomach and it starts doing what it does, guess what's going to happen? You're going to go. Your body's going to be forced to do something that it don't want to do. And that's what happens when you're in a hospital room trying to have a baby. Your body shuts down. It don't want to do it.
I didn't know they do that.
Yeah. It shuts down. And when you induce and you give a person, a doctor gives a mother inducing drugs to force the baby out. That's the equivalent of you taking a laxative downtown and trying to go poop in front of it. Your body's going to do what it don't want to do. You're forcing it. And guess what happens when you force? When you force, it's never good. We ended up doing that with Eden. We're going to talk about that more in one of the other chapters, but we ended up trying to force her out. And that's how, that was one of the first mistakes that we actually made.